Hey, 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 my cybersecurity champions. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. All right. I'm Chuck Taylor, co-founder and chief go-getter here at CyberHoot, and I am pumped you're here today because this episode is going to ruffle a few feathers, but in the best kind of way. Whether you're watching live or catching the replay, you're in the right place because today we're calling out Checkbox training for what it is: lazy, dangerous, and totally not enough. But don't worry, we're not just throwing shade out there. We're here to show you what actually works when it comes to building smart, click-resistant teams that make your auditors smile and your inbox stay safe. So grab your coffee, mute those notifications, and let's get this flight off the ground. Your security culture is about to get a serious, serious upgrade, so let's go. Okay, excuse me, I have this cough still going around. I know we've all had it. So today's flight is nonstop to Truthville with a layover. And wait, they really did that? Here's what we've got on the radar for today. First up, a 5-minute rant that pulls no punches. Checkbox training, cute, right? We're diving into why once-a-year training is about as effective as brushing your teeth annually, and how that bot you're checking might actually be a trap. Then it's time for the CyberHoot Nerd Update. Bug fixes, bigger features, and nerdy goodness. We've got fresh code, faster reports, and a few stealthy quality of life upgrades you'll wish we'd built sooner. And after that, it's open mic Q&A. You got a burning question? A weird setup issue? And look, a totally unrelated dad joke? Love it. Send it my way. Bring it. We're all ears and feathers. And finally, our hoot-worthy horror story. The checkbox claim denied. A real-world tale of a company that thought annual training was enough until their insurance provider said, cute, denied. So buckle up, sip that coffee, and let's get into it. Okay, let me ask you something. If you brushed your teeth once a year, how confident would you feel going to the dentist? Exactly. But for some reason, companies treat cybersecurity the same exact way. Oh, we'll just do a 60-minute training once a year. We're going to check that box and call it good. Really? In a world where TikToks are too long, you think a 60-minute training is going to do the job? Let me tell you what happened to me just a few weeks ago. My co-founder, Craig, great guy, love him. He sends me a 47-minute cybersecurity video to watch and says, hey, Chuck, watch this so we can chat about it later. So I did what any responsible adult would do. I cranked the volume up, I set the laptop on the counter, and I made myself a sandwich. I listened while I toasted bread, microwaved soup, maybe answered a few emails. Now, did I technically listen to the training? Sure, I did. It was playing. Did I absorb anything beyond like 2 bullet points or the hold music in the intro? Not a chance. This is what happens when training is a one-time event and it's too long. It becomes background noise. It becomes lunch music. It becomes checkbox compliance theater. And no, I'm not the only one. A Microsoft study once showed the average adult attention span is now shorter than a goldfish. What does that mean? 8 seconds. 8. So when you ask people to focus for 45 minutes once a year on phishing threats, you're fighting biology and email, and quite frankly, lunch too, right? So checkbox training, it's easy. You watch, you click, and you're done. Gold star for everyone, maybe even a pizza party. But here's the thing. Hackers don't care if you passed a 60-minute webinar last April. They're not going, oh, shoot, Karen took her annual training 8 months ago. Better not fish her. No, they're checking for gaps. And annual training creates massive ones. At CyberHoot, we're not here to waste your time or play gotcha. We're here to help build muscle memory. The time that makes you pause before you click the link. That's why we do short, frequent, relevant training that doesn't blow up your calendar, but keeps your security right where it belongs, top of the mind. Because cyber attacks don't wait for audit season. And if your entire defense plan is, we did something once a while back, well, let's just say the hackers appreciate your annual contribution. So now you might be saying to yourself, but we have cyber insurance. All right, cyber insurance. Cybersecurity insurance is like a gym membership. It feels responsible. It looks great on paper, but if no one's using it, it doesn't do squat. So when you apply, cybersecurity people asked you, the insurance people asked you, do you provide cybersecurity training? Yep, easy. Checkbox done, premium issued, give me your money. They take your money. But when there's a breach, now this is the important part. When there's a breach, when someone actually clicks the wrong thing and things go sideways, Now, insurance providers want receipts. Who got trained? When? How often? What exactly did they learn? And if your answer is, we did something last year, I think it was a video. Yeah, good luck with that claim. Annual checkbox training does not equal due diligence. Cyber gives you the tools to prove you did your part. Monthly training, real tracking, engaged learners. So when the auditors come knocking, you're not scrambling, you're smiling. So let's be real. 10 minutes a month beats 2 hours a year every single time. Why? Why? Because cybersecurity isn't a checkbox, it's a habit, it's a muscle, and you don't build muscles with a once a year lift. That's why I personally recommend this easy, simple rhythm. Cybersecurity video on the 1st of the month, Hootfish training on the 14th of the month. 2 light touches, 10 to 12 minutes of training total. No disruptions, no burnout, just consistent, bite-sized awareness. It's low lift, high impact. You meet audit requirements, you satisfy cybersecurity assurance policies, and you build a culture that thinks before clicking. No more check the box and hope for the best. No, this is automated, reinforced, human-centered training that sticks. So yeah, checkbox training, that's cute. At CyberHoot, we're playing the long game. Now, let's shift gears because I want to go from these mindset to mechanics because while you've been building smarter habits, our dev team's been busy hooting away in the code cave. Let's take a look at what's new in our Hoot Labs. Oops. All right. Hoot Labs, Hoot Labs, Hoot Labs. All right. So, give me a second. All right, my nerd friends, let's buckle up. The first round of updates is all about visibility, accountability, and clarity. Let's face it, if you can't track it, measure it, or explain it to your client, it might as well not even exist. We've made it easier to see exactly what's happening in your cybersecurity ecosystem. Want to know which managers have email notifications turned off? We'll now tell you loudly. You're curious who's getting those report emails and when? That's logged too. Oh, and for our MSP friends out there, you're now getting admin account info and logged in timestamps right in your reports. It's like the receipts you didn't know you needed. We also cleaned up our user status set sports with usernames added where they were mysteriously missing before. We also upgraded the CSV upload experience so it doesn't feel like solving a riddle from the IT gods. Plus, sync users can now be unarchived in bulk. That's right, fewer excuses, more cleanup power. So on to part 2 of our glorious nerd update is for all you performance-hungry power users and API aficionados. First, yes, we heard you. Autopilot and API were dragging a little butt when loading users. They were a little slow, they were dragging tail, but we've tossed some caffeine into the back end and those hunters are now flying. Faster data, happier admins, and fewer timeouts at mid-scroll. You're welcome. Simple. On the development side, we dropped some juicy new API endpoints, including one for compliance metrics and another for updating attack fish campaigns directly. That means smoother integrations, less duct tape, and more wow moments for your internal tools or your MSP dashboards. And let's not forget the user experience glow-ups. Attack fish tags, they now save correctly. Logo links and emails now send users straight to assignment instead of into the void. And pagination on our challenge results is now less chaotic. We finally updated the all users label to say all teammates because language matters, especially when you're trying to look like a friendly security overlord. Oh, and we officially stopped our back end from connecting to outdated phishing campaigns. It's 2026, time to let those old campaigns go. So, nerd hats off now. Let's switch gears. We just covered what we've been working on. Now let's talk about what's on your mind. It's Q&A time. No question too small, too weird, or too oddly specific. Let's go. But first, email that monthly 10. Let me pull this up here on the screen for you. Email that monthly 10, training 10 to ShootTheHoot@cyberhoot.com and get 10% off your next invoice. Type it in, click the send, and get that 10. And again, like I said, if you're watching this on replay, send it in anyway. I'll probably hook you up with 10% off your next invoice. All right. So we are switching gears, right? So you've heard my thoughts on the checkbox training, that once a year compliance theater as it is, and my mustard-fueled video habits, right? Now, it's your turn. What are you running into? You push back from leadership, time constraints, a vendor who swears 60-minute video once a year is industry standard. Ask away, this is open mic, feathers optional. What do you have for me? Now, again, remember, there's no questions coming through. No problem. I'm always got a few stacked here. All right. Our first question. We only train once a year because our insurance provider says that's enough. Why change it? Insurance might be saying yearly training, but they expect you to act like you care. When it comes to claim time, they'll look at behavior, not just policies. And monthly training proves you're building awareness, not just checking a box. So bonus also, regularly monthly training helps prevent the claim in the first place. So don't roll the dice with once a year training, hoping that you're going to be covered. No, do your due diligence. Get good training in there for them. Next, how do I convince leadership that monthly training isn't overkill? I know. We don't want to mess people up too much. We're giving them too much training and taking away from time. But what you can do is use the toothbrush analogy. So brushing once a year just doesn't cut it. Even if you brush really, really, really hard. 10 minutes worth of training every month builds a habit, not just a memory. It's low lift, non-disruptive, and more effective in keeping your team alert when the real threats hit. So use that toothbrush analogy. Tell them, boom, can't do that. It's like taking your medicine once a year. It doesn't work. Right. And our last question. Our team hates long videos. So do I. I'm trying to keep this short. Oh, we're 11 minutes in. Good stuff. 12 minutes in. How do you keep people engaged with monthly content? So at CyberHoot, we don't do the long video stuff. We don't do that. That's the point. CyberHoot delivers short 2 to 4 minute focused lessons that feel more like a coffee break than a lecture. You're in, you learn, you move on. But here's the secret sauce. We mix it up. Some trainings feature real people talking to the camera. Others are animated. Some are fun cartoon style, and some go minimal, just voiceover and visuals. It's intentionally varied to avoid that, cybersecurity training again, feeling that you all get. And if your team prefers to click around instead of watch, our Hootfish challenges and training let them interact, test their instincts, and learn by doing. It's training that keeps them on their toes, not asleep at their desk. All right, any other trainings? Excuse me on my cough. So no other questions right now. All right, so we've talked Checkbox training, we've talked motivation, but now it's time to take a reality check. Because when once a year training meets a real world attack, the fallout isn't just embarrassing, it's expensive. Let's talk about a company now that thought they were covered until their insurance provider said, not so fast. All right, we'll turn off this question. Hop over here to slide 10. The Checkbox claim denied. So let me paint you this picture. So small business, about 40 employees, nice little place, decent tech stack, outsourced IT, and like many others, they train their team on cybersecurity once a year. Big checkbox on their compliance form. Check. Insurance policy renewed? Yeah, you can keep sending your money to the insurance provider. Are you feeling confident? Absolutely you are. Everything's great. Now, fast forward 6 months. An employee receives an email that looks like it came from the CEO. Urgent request, wire transfer. You know that old chestnut, right? But training day was a distant memory. No repetition, no reinforcement, no pause. So guess what? You betcha they clicked. The wire went out. 92 grand gone in a flash. But here's where the horror story really kicks in. No problem, they got insurance, right? So they filed a claim with their cybersecurity insurance provider. And the provider denied it. Why? I have the insurance. The policy required ongoing cybersecurity awareness training, not one and done, not annually, if you remember. They had the receipts, one training session 10 months ago, but it wasn't enough. The insurer pointed to it clearly, quote unquote, due diligence includes continuous education efforts, which they didn't have. So no payout, just pure out of pocket. A moment of panic turned into a $92,000 lesson in what not to do. Because the thing is, insurance might give you the policy for the Checkbox training, but they won't give you the payout for it. And that's a big difference. And that's why Autopilot was built to make ongoing training effortless. So you're not just covered on paper, but prepared when it matters. So let's recap what we learned today and bring this bird in for a landing. All right? So we've laughed a little, hopefully. We learned, definitely, and we officially buried the myth that once-a-year training is good enough. Because here's the truth. You can't build a security culture one checkbox at a time. You build it with consistency, with curiosity, and with content that sticks. 10 minutes a month. Set it and secure it. No micromanaging, just momentum. So if your 2026 plan still says annual training, it's time to cross that out and level up. Until next time, I'm Chuck Taylor reminding you that compliance might check the box, but culture checks the inbox. Till then, don't forget to laugh, to learn, and what's left? Hoot up! Hoot up!